Okay, we're back, and it's a great night here. And I have a friend of mine that we've been corresponding for a while, Jack Snider, and he's doing the path, blazing the trail, doing what he needs to do to make himself a better human, a better man. And so I just felt prompted to have him on and kind of get his point of view, of what kind of is going on in the world with the crazy year we're having in 2020. If you want to check out his site, it's his YouTube channel. It's Original Source Energy. And Jack, man, thanks for coming on.
No problem, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I really felt prompted to hit you up. It kind of came into my core, kind of from the higher force, to just kind of have you on and kind of connect on the, do this recording and kind of get some things out there. I know there's a lot of people out there that are working, doing their path work. They're working hard, and, they need the encouragement. We need the encouragement. And so this is what it's all about in coming together. And I think now is the time when, a remnant of us are going to come together, connect, and start to really have a higher level of correspondence. What do you think?
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually see that happening more than ever. And it's funny, that has been happening for a long time, but in 2020, I see the people that are getting it, that are doing this type of stuff, are coming together a lot closer, in my opinion. At least that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah, me too. And, there's other people in the circle that I've been connecting with as well, and kind of, hit me up or whatever, because they're moving through some calcination processes, where they're burning and they're having, their emotions are coming up, man, and you start to feel that, that kind of correspondence when, when people are going through that. And that's where the wisdom comes in, right? Where you have that connection to the higher force, and that wisdom starts to pour out to your brother or your sister.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons I called my channel Original Source Energy, is because to me, it was like, let's get right fucking connected to the main source to burn through all this fucking shit I have in my life, And that's one of the reasons I called it that. And that's kind of been the way that I go about shit, is just getting straight to the fucking point. Not all the little detour roads. Let's get this shit rolling, because we don't have forever to make this happen. We are, in one way, running out of fucking time right now. But
yeah, and this is a critical time, a juncture, a crossroads. This is a place where we all are feeling, the brevity of time, where things are converging, things are starting to explode in the reality fields, on fire. We've got, people wearing masks, I mean, holy crap, man. It's unbelievable. I mean, I was in Denver just yesterday. I've seen people literally like on the flipping bus stop with a mask on by themselves, in their cars driving by themselves with a mask on. Just places where they don't need to wear a mask even.
Sure.
And so it's becoming a trend. It's being embedded in the unconscious mind.
Yeah, that's right. I've really noticed that around where I am too. And I mean, a lot of these people, because they haven't done the path work, they don't know who they are, they don't know their strengths and weaknesses and how to face adversity. They're literally using this mask as a crutch, something to hide behind. And I see that a lot. It's like these people were millimeters away from getting something in their life to hide behind to begin with. So, these motherfuckers roll this out, and a lot of them are just happy about this. They really are. I see it all the fucking time. And like you too, I've seen people walking by themselves down the path out in the middle of the coulees where I am, where there's nobody around, with the fucking mask on. Guys exercising, riding bikes hard, masks on. Like, you gotta be nuts, But, I think it's literally turned into a religion at this point. That's kind of what it is. And, trying to convince these mask wearers not to wear one, that's like going up to a Christian and telling them to stop believing in Jesus Christ. That shit just ain't gonna work, Like, they want that.
Yeah, like, right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's in the beginning, it was tapping the fear, the reptilian brain, the fight, flight, or freeze, all of those things that, just basically the virus came in, man. and it attached itself, the mind virus, because that's really the virus we're dealing with, right? It's a mind virus. You know, that's really the issue here. You know, it's a programmed mind virus embedded in the reptilian brain.
That's right. Yeah. And that's the thing too, like, you know, it literally sweeps into the mind, and it's that little story that's whispering in your ear that, you know, we all have conversations in our head all the fucking time. People that tell me they don't, you're full of shit. Because if you don't, you're not human. People go through the whole day and there's constant fucking chatter going on in their mind. But these people don't have the ability to handle that or manage that. They're believing everything that sweeps into their minds. So as soon as the news, their God, the government, tells them something, it's just they're bowing down and, you know, praying to that shit. But that's because they can't differentiate within their own mind what's bullshit and what's, you know, actually going to serve you to better yourself.
Right, because they can't discern. They don't know the difference. They don't know who's speaking, if it's them, if it's, you know, a thought form that's coming from outside of them, embedded into the virus, embedded into the programs, embedded into the overlay, embedded into you know, all of the implants, you know, that are going on here. And so, you know, so this gets to our first kind of aspect that I kind of want to get into with you, is drawing the circle of the magician. You know, how important that is to the path work, to connecting to the higher force, and being able to understand the difference of that voice. You know, that still small voice, or that booming voice, however it comes at you within yourself, that is connected to the higher force, you know, and being able to align that ego, because we know we have those voices going on in our head, and they all sound the same.
That's right. Yeah.
It sounds like me, right? I mean, you know, so how do you discern what, you know, what's connected, or what things are keyed into, and where those energies are coming from? So, you know, getting into the circle of the magician.
Yeah. Well, you know, those stories in general that are in the mind, as you just said, to the untrained person, it's just all the same voice. But once you've done a certain amount of path work to discover who the fuck you are, and then you start to see that there is different voices. They're not the same. There's like literally a whole fucking community of shit barking in your head.
I know, right?
And literally that's where, for me, it comes into the magic circle. What I utilize that for is to navigate and manage all that shit going on up there. Basically,
right.
If I do have a situation like that, the magic circle for me is to stay grounded, to stay in the balance point, not to get triggered by a story over here or triggered by the one over here. It's literally to stay balanced. Let those motherfuckers talk and chatter all you want, but I'm gonna sit in the middle and think and assess and fucking watch what the fuck you're doing and see which ones are barking and whether it's gonna serve me on a higher path or a destructive path. And that's literally the power that I use the magic circle for. It's to hold yourself and not be fearful to face these things, you know, or anybody else, even in the physical world. It works more than just in the metaphysical type setting. But, you know, that's the thing, that inner strength, so that you can just stand there no matter what sweeps into you, no matter how scary you think it feels, and just stay balanced with it and not let it jerk you one way or the other. And I mean, dealing with our emotions, being able to handle them from a balanced point is kind of the fucking ultimate goal here, right? I mean, if a person can do that, your life will change in a positive manner. That's almost a guarantee.
Yeah, because let's just face it, man, humanity's been fooled. They've been tricked. And that takes us to the fool card, to the zero, in context to the circle. This is why we have to have it, because we need the path. We need to draw the circle. We need to step into our sovereignty, our free will, and understand that at this point, this is my universe. This is where I'm going to pull all my fragments and all my fragmentation from the lockdown and all the bullshit that we've been through for aeons. This is where I'm going to pull all that into my heart core and connect to my heart core intelligence, connect to that soul spark and get it ignited, connecting to the higher force. You know, bridge the gap between the soul and spirit, bring that back online and step into your power. If you don't people don't understand how to step into their power, they're fucked.
Totally. I totally agree with you. And literally, that's all I see everywhere I go anymore is people that are literally just clinging on to the edge of existence. If you know what, they're just in survival mode. They might have the fancy home and the big fancy boat, but they are in fucking survival mode, emotionally. You know, one little thing in their life switches one way, and it's devastating for most of the people on this fucking planet. And it's really sad to see. But at the same time, they fucking signed up for this shit. So I can only feel sorry for so much and for so long. You know, and we all got a choice. We can either live that way or not, right? Fuck, we're all adults here. So, you know, people are really fucking hurting out there.
Dude, I had a while back, it's been, you know, quite some time, but I had the kind of a vision one time. It was just kind of an open vision that came to me of people with Mercedes and you know, like, you know, really nice cars, dressed nice, going to food banks, man, getting food, you know, because, you know, all this shit that we're dealing with right now, man, is absolutely taking people into a drop down in their consciousness and survival mode. It's worse than it's ever been.
It is, yeah.
And and literally people are, you know, whether they want to admit it or not, they're in fear. They're afraid of what is coming next, because these events have just been rolled out in 2020, one right after another, boom, you know, and taken basically the masses to the edge of the cliff. Here,
That's cool.
you know, in context to the fool card, if you just want to get into it, you know, to the edge of the cliff. And right now, what is humanity going to do? You know, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. And, you know, people like you and I and others who are actually doing the real work, who see what's going on, who have awareness, who have understanding and understanding, see all this bullshit that's going on. Sometimes it makes my blood boil, man, because I'm like going, how come people can't see this? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's as plain as the fucking sun coming up in the morning and going down in the evening. Like, it's obvious, you know? And people just don't fucking get it. But, you know, this is the thing. Like, if you haven't been ahead of 2020, if you haven't been doing the groundwork to learn balance, to step into your magic circle, your place of where your own fucking little spot where you can get away from all the shit. And now, so you haven't done that, but now 2020 hits, you're fucking defenseless. And, you know, a lot of these people, like you talked about the suits going to the food bank there, something I see within that too is these people have only have one skill set in their life to draw upon. You know, the accountant or the lawyer, whatever. They don't have, because of the work I've done in my magic circle, I have many different things I can do in my life to draw what I need towards me. I'm not counting on one fucking individual thing. And that all has come from my path work. I didn't know this stuff before then. But like, as far as my life to take care of myself, I have 4 or 5 different fucking things that I'm juggling that all are highly relevant, even in an economy that's hurting, you know? But these people are one-trick ponies. So when that little job ends, their whole fucking life disintegrates because they got no other skill set. And they don't know how to handle the feelings that are coming up in them. They don't know the language of feeling. Like you said before, you ask them if they're fearful, they'll deny it. But that's because they have no fucking idea what fear feels like in the fucking center of themselves.
Exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I draw the circle, is because, you know, if you want to get into the magical aspect of it, you know, and, you know, the occult aspect of it, I mean, if you think about it, you know, there's been all this bullshit going on, casting spells and, you know, love spells or whatever, all this stuff that people do, you know. As far as I'm concerned, man, just as my personal, that's all bullshit. I am here to access my core essence in truth and in understanding, connected to the higher force, allowing that healing to come forth into my life. If I am connected and my heart core intelligence is online, the overflow starts to happen, and I magnetize anything I need to myself. I don't even have to think about it. It just comes because I'm in alignment. See?
That's
And this is what people have to start to understand, you know, is that even people doing this path work, is that the overflow is the manifestation of reality, you know, changing your life, your reality field within yourself, and then with vibrational correspondence to the outside. And then once you've taken that land within yourself, you can start to take land outside of yourself. See? Right. But the problem has been is there's all these distractions and all these foxholes and all these ditches and all these places that people get pulled into to some bullshit because they don't know how to actually access their true core intelligence and get that ignition happening with the higher force. It is an ignition that takes place, an enlightenment, a boom that happens within you. And the purging power of that is incredible. This is the reason why I draw it, because I know if I'm connected to my heart core, that my life is going to prosper. It doesn't matter what timeline that the humanity is on. I'm going to prosper within anything that's going to happen because I'm going to be able to magnetize the higher awareness, the higher dimensional awareness to myself for whatever I need. That's why I draw it. That's this is why. And of course, number one for me is healing.
That's right. And to me, that comes back to the true, what a real survival skill and instinct is. What you know, is portrayed now as survival is, you know, again, these people panicking in the streets because they're going to lose their job. But to me, survival is being connected to these higher fucking forces. And literally, when you're connected like that, it doesn't even feel like survival. Because as you were just stating, things are pulled towards you. So it's not a struggle survival, right? And I mean,
I'm prospering during this time.
Yeah, same here. I've never had such a good year.
Prosperous. I'm in a prosperous mode right now, you know, because, you know, there is something within me that I'm not afraid. I don't care. I don't have to worry about death, being fearful of death or dying or having to worry about if I go out my house, am I going to catch something or some bullshit, see, which is what they've got everybody locked down on here. I don't have to fear death. No one does, you know? And so once you can get to that point where you can face that and understand that it doesn't matter at all costs, I'm going to access my core essence. You've started, you know, you've actually started the path work. That's where you have to start. You know, as far as I'm concerned, man, you got to get to that point where you can look it in the eye, man, and find the humor in it, you know, laugh at it, whatever you have to do. Because that's the 0 point, man. You know, that's that 0 point energy where you are in your sovereignty, you're in your free will and your eternal essence, man. This is why I draw it. This is why I do it. And I fell in love with it, you know, literally. And, you know, so just give us some examples, Jack, about maybe some times when you've been in maybe, you know, a polarity issue, you know, dealing with emotional things that are coming up, and maybe getting triggered or whatever, and how the circle has pulled you into a place, you know, back into that sensor place where you're able then to navigate those emotions, those thought forms.
Right. Well, I mean, most of my life up until the last decade when I've been doing this stuff, I have been completely out of sync with everything that is. And at that time, as we stated earlier, fear inside and out. And everything I went to do in that state of fear that I did not recognize turned into shit constantly. Didn't matter what I did, what I touched, who I engaged, driving uptown, somebody's honking and hollering. I had nothing but shit coming into my life for most of my goddamn life. But being able to get to the center of yourself, to be able to face adversity, also brought a certain amount of calmness to me too. Like a lot of people that watch my goddamn videos think that I'm angry and hostile, but I'm literally at a balanced point when I talk and act that way, you know? But so what I'm trying to say here is that this path has completely cleaned my life, and I can fucking attest to the fact that this shit works. Because all I got to do is look at my life, where I was then, where I am now. It's a fucking 3,000% difference, right? But, you know, when I was struggling through the shit, I'm no different than anybody else. I'm nothing special. There's nothing fucking great about me. I just decided I had enough and knew that there was a higher way of doing things out there. And, you know, and also on this path, I've been fucking relentless. I will not stop. I don't give a fuck what the cost is. And that's, again, that power was cultivated from the fucking magic circle and being able to stand against anything. And that's the point to get to. By the time you start to see this stuff happening in your life, you have to be in that zone. Like we talked about how things are coming to you. You can't have that unless you fucking literally mastered this. I mean, I've always got learning to do. I don't want to, you know, trying to say I'm a master, but I fucking have done the work. And I've got the repercussions of that, which makes life a lot fucking easier. But, you know, that's the thing. Anybody out there, you know, you all can do this shit. Something I have never talked about on my channel that I have wanted to bring up, but I just don't feel we're ready for it. I have memories of what the fuck we were. And it's fucking profound. And because I remember those things, that has helped me push forward because I fucking know I can do what I once was capable of. You know, I see that shit plain as day. You can tell me it's a story or whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. It actually helped me to get where I am, so I don't care what it is. It's usable shit. But I can remember what the fuck, the power that we had. And even now, when I look at myself, where I've come from and where I am today, which is tremendous, where I've got to go, my God, there's a whole fucking realm ahead of me here yet of things that I can do. But again, you need that balance of the magic circle to get to that point, that inner strength that can stand anywhere against any odds.
Yeah, that's a great testimony, man. I mean, literally anybody can say whatever the hell they want, but I'm going to judge them, and I'm going to use the word judge because it's discernment. You know, I'm not judging in context to, you know, you're a piece of shit or whatever. I'm judging in context to discernment, right? What's the fruit in your life? You know, is your life full of is it shambles? You know, is it broken relationships? Are you financially bankrupt? You know, is your life full of drama and trauma? You know, then that means that you're still in distortions and you're still caught in the bullshit in the lower astral veils. You know, you haven't burned through anything. This is what the circle's about. It's about burning through those veils, understanding, you know, that you have the right to go through the process of transformation and transmutation. It's your right to grab a hold of these, you know, and grab a hold of these concepts, you know, getting into, you know, the aspect of alchemy and the biospiritual regenesis, you know, and that's what the circle is also about for me. Is, let's say, for example, boy, I mean, I got my ass kicked today emotionally, you know, going through some shit. I got triggered, whatever, a few times. You know, I come home and I'm like laying in bed. I'm like, I don't want to get up and do any work, NG work, man. I'm tired. I make myself get up. I make myself get the hell up. Even if it's 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and get in and draw that circle. Get in, put some, you know, I work with a lot of Norse music. Put some Norse on music and get into the circle and start working with my internal reality. This is where you really can accomplish. I said, I've had some of my best times when I didn't feel like going to the circle and I made myself get up and do it.
Yeah. That's for everything I've ever done that's difficult. It's been that, whether it was the magic circle or when I was powerlifting, you know, when I didn't want to go, well, now I have to. If I'm not going to go, it's when I want to go to the gym that I'll stay home. But if I don't want to go, motherfucker, we're going there and we're going to get some shit done. And as you just stated, some of the best workouts I had in my life, you know, but it's what I do. Everything I do like that anymore. You know, if that little story is picking up and it doesn't want it, well, fuck, now you're committed. You have no choice now. And again, that's where it takes some fucking inner strength and some goddamn fucking discipline. Instead of just rolling over, laying back on the couch, popping a box of Twinkies and just shoving those fuckers down, you know?
Exactly, man. I'm just going to pop my beer, watch some Netflix, man, you know, eat some potato chips, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we need time where we can disconnect, relax. I'm not saying that we don't, man. Take some time just to lounge, you know. We need that time. But when you're in the heat of the battle, man, and you're worn out and you're tired and you don't feel like doing it, but you know inside you're not right.
That's right.
You know, I'm not going to bed like that. I'm not going into my dream space like that. You know, you become vulnerable with your dream space when you're not right inside. When you hit your bed, man. And so I don't want to be in that space, you know. So if I know I'm not right, man, I'm going to do it, even if it's 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, you know. And so this is part of the warrior mentality that we have to adopt within our path work, you know. This isn't you know, rainbows and unicorns here and love and light and that's all there is, man. You know, I mean, the word ascension to me has become an addiction to people, man. You know.
Yeah, I'm totally fucking tired of that shit. And you know, for me, I'm tired of running too. Like most of these people want to run away to something. Here's the fucking deal. If I die and I got to incarnate back into this shit, then fucking bring it on. I will come here again and again and again, no matter how much it fucking hurts me inside, until I do the fucking job I'm set here to do. I don't give a fuck at this point. And you know, to everybody else, the thought of once they die, you know, they just want to skip out and book out and head off to the next wherever. You know, that's fucking bullshit. That's cowardly and that's running away. And if you run away, you're a spiritual person and you want to leave this fucking planet, you're setting yourself up for a big fucking eye opener. You're for sure going to be going through more turmoil in the days ahead. But that warrior mindset, it's going to help you here now in a physical, and it's going to help you thereafter when you do fucking die. So it's
we have to integrate that energies.
That's right.
We have to integrate those energies, man.
Times when I was going through the worst shit, facing the darkest fucking stuff coming into me, there was a time when I thought I was gonna fucking die. But you know what? I didn't fucking quit, and I came through that shit. And you know, that's where the inner strength came out of me. Is I remember, like literally, I had interface with archons. This was many years ago. I had a fucking flu. I came home. My home life was a disaster. I was laying downstairs sick, and this fucking shit came into me. And for 7 fucking days, I battled it. And by the time I was done, that is when I was no longer scared of fucking death. Because after a while, I was like, what the fuck are you motherfuckers gonna do to me? Kill me? And if you do that, you want me in this body as long as you can get me. Because when I'm fucking released from here, oh boy, fucking stand back.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that you know, the practice of the magic circle for me personally isn't a ritual. It isn't a ceremony. It's something that I've integrated as a practice, you know, in context to when I need it, you know, and when I know that I need to go there, because it's something that is part of my life now. And I've lived my life, you know, with a lot of abandonment, kind of a rebel, you know, that those kind of aspects, and getting pulled into the story of bullshit, you know, and the dramas and stuff, and then, you know, paying the consequence for that down the road. But one of the things that integrating this practice has done for me in the last 3 years is keep me out of all of the ignorance, keep me out of all of the dramas and traumas of people's lives, and getting connected to that. I'm a Libra ascendant, so a lot of stuff that happened with me was feeling bad for people, you know, because they're going through shit, you know, and they need help. And so I would lay myself out there to help them, you know, however I could with my resources or whatever I had, and then end up getting into more bullshit and then get sucked like a vampire, just sucked dry, you know? And so one of the things that the circle has done for me is, you know, reclaiming my sovereignty and my free will to know the difference between when somebody really needs help, you know, and they're willing to change, maybe giving them some space to change, but cutting that off when I don't see change now and not feeling bad about it at all,
No,
you know? And that's part of healing my ascendant that's happened to me from, you know, being in the 0 point there of the circle and being able to tap into my true core essence and sovereignty, man. You know, this is one of the areas I've healed in my life with it.
Yeah. And I mean, one other thing I'd like to add about the magic circle is, you know, if I want to try to explain in simple terms what it is for me, what it does, you know, it's basically protection. It's kind of like an imaginary fucking force field around you that is your protection, right? Psychological and,
yes,
and protection in the physical reality. I mean, it's really simple. Just think about chopping the fucking top off your car and going for a 10-hour drive with no defenses of the roof that's on top. That's gonna fucking suck. It's gonna be a rough fucking ride, man. You're gonna be wasted by the time you get to your end point. So the magic circle for me, it's putting the fucking roof on the car so that I can cruise in comfort, you know, and have something to shield me from all the shit that's outside.
Well, when you're drawing the fire and that fire comes up in the, you know, within the ether, because you're drawing it from your imagination, right? So we're drawing the fire around us, grounding it, integrating it, and then, you know, it's one of the things that I do is, you know, I'm drawing that fire within me, and then I'm taking everything from my center out and burning the hell out of it. You're not coming in my circle. You know, whatever's attached or whatever bullshit's there. If it doesn't get its ass out, guess what's going to happen, man? It's space dust. It's going to get burnt, you know? And then even taking it from the circle outside to what's been attached, burning that to the source, you know? And this is one of the things that I do in the circle after I've grounded, after I've connected to the higher force and grounded, is literally, man, I'm like, you know, one of the things I say, man, how, you know, and I evoke is, you know, anything in here that may be trying to attach to me or that has tried to hook into me, you know, because I'm not 100% healed. None of us are.
Yeah, no,
you know?
That's right.
We're going to get hooked into, but the difference is we know the difference. See, we know when we're getting hooked into now. See, so we can take that aspect and burn that stuff. Let me tell you, man, you're burning that stuff in literally in that space, and there's trembling going on with those entities. Let me tell you.
You better believe.
Because if humanity could ever understand the power that they carry within themselves and understand that all is within them, we could actually do something here on this planet.
That's right. Your action here of braveness and standing on your own 2 feet, fucking, it's like dropping a stone in a pond, man. That sends fucking ripples across the whole fucking deal.
Yes, it does.
That's like the last video I did, metaphysical defenses. That's what the fuck I wanted to do. That was my inner purpose with that, is to fucking send that shit out to all fucking parasitic life forms. I want all you motherfuckers to hear me now. That's the deal.
Yeah, because people are rode in on. They're constantly, you know, speaking bullshit, you know, and there's all of this. Sometimes it's like, you know, you get in a group of people and you're walking through mud, man, because it's just like you're going, holy shit, you know, this is terrible, you know, because people are so dumbed down, you know, and you're feeling that, and it's like, this is, you know, sometimes this is a place where I draw the circle if I have to be in a group of people, because I don't want stuff mucking me out, you know, and so, you know, this is kind of my, you know, my practice. You can draw it anywhere, you know, you can draw circles as small or as big as you need to, as far as I'm concerned, to do the work that you need to get done, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know, you know, protocol's 9 feet and all that, but again, man, you know, getting into how I work with it, you know, this is how I do it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's fine. That's the thing. We're not all the fucking same. I don't want everybody to do it my way. It'd be a pretty boring world if we were all exactly like me, you know? So, and that's the thing. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So, you know, that's
Yeah.
why I'll never fucking knock somebody that does it in a way that I don't do it, because how am I
Right.
to say it ain't right? So,
Exactly. So, you know, here I think I'd like to kind of move into maybe a little bit of natural law and alchemy aspects, you know, because I think basically, if you look at what's going on now in the reality fields on the planet, even in our local communities, and kind of the aspect of everything that's taking place, people are literally don't have a clue understanding even the first law, state of mind, law of mentalism. They don't even understand that, you know, getting into, you know, how things are navigated, how things are ignited, you know, and their minds are so hijacked that literally these assholes don't have to do much to get them, you know, to get them all the sheep to move in a direction, man. You know,
those
this
are
is
all
how
there.
hijacked the mind is, you know, and, you know, the state of mind, getting into the state of mind, you know, this is absolutely imperative that people doing this path work understand. And I know it's basic. I know, you know, what we're talking about here is basic, but people have to get the foundations,
Yeah, for sure.
you know?
Yeah, no, we got to keep, in my opinion, keep pounding this. I mean, like when I had a conversation with you the other day, there's all kinds of other shit I want to bring out, but we haven't even got off our fucking knees from the sewer yet. So why would I bring shit out that's going to be irrelevant to the time that we're in? And right now, we got to get off our knees if we want to shift back onto the proper fucking timeline. But, and that's the thing that we come into here, is basically, you know, people don't know what's happening inside them. They don't know what's coming through their mind. They don't know anything about themselves. So therefore, once you're like that, you don't know the path that you're taking in life. You can't see, like when I make a decision, I literally think about it and I see, it's like your fucking blood veins when they split off into many directions. That's what I see when I'm going to make a decision. And I can see that this one here is going to cause that fucking repercussion. And this one here, well, it's good in this side, but not that. And then end up fucking coming down to the one that I see that's going to be the cleanest path of least resistance, that brings the least amount of fucking shit into my life, right? But people run around blaming circumstances on everything else. You fucking chose every single fucking thing that's come into your life. And you know what? Just in case somebody wants to say, oh, but a woman didn't choose to be raped, I'll fucking tell you something. I know a female, a super powerful individual, and many years ago she was raped. And for 2 fucking years, it was destroying her. Finally, one day she decided to forgive this guy. I'm not talking about it's okay, carry on, but she forgave him to forgive herself. And man, if she seen him today, she'd pull his guts out and serve him on a platter. But the point is she got to the point where she said to me, you know what? I'm the one who made the choice to go to that party that night by myself, walk home after. I fucking got myself into this situation. And I'll tell you what, I have nothing but respect for this individual, because to come through something so nasty like that and then accept responsibility, holy fuck. Now that person has a superpower. And this devastating thing is what cultivated in her. If you ask her today, she'll never fucking tell you that she regrets it. Yeah, she doesn't like it, okay? But it's fucking forged her into the warrior that she is today. And now you don't want to fuck with her. She's physically trained and done stuff, and you're going to get your ass handed to you if you even fuck with her. But if it wasn't for that, she knows that she would never have become who she is today, and she likes who she is today.
Yeah, that's using the bloodied rags for fuel, as far as I'm concerned, man. You know, and my healing began when I faced the mirror and took responsibility for where I was at. That was where I can remember the day when I looked in the mirror and I took responsibility for my life being at death's door. When I did that, that's when everything shifted mentally for me, because you know what? I couldn't be the victim anymore. I couldn't allow the victim mentality to rear its ugly head, to point the finger and say it's your fault or it's your fault. You know, I was put here by, by individuals or whatever. No, it was the choices that I made when I made them that created the cause and effect in my life, period.
Yeah.
And
right.
when you take responsibility for that, that's when healing begins, man, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, did it suck where I was at? Damn right it did. It was hell, dude. I dropped down into hell, literally. And I had to accept responsibility for exactly where I was, embrace the pain because it hurt like hell, and take responsibility for the cause and effect I created in my own life.
Yeah.
Because what is karma, man? It's just willful ignorance. You're not knowing the difference. And so you make choices that are creating effects in your life that are cultivating bullshit. And all the trauma and bullshit that comes up in your reality fields. And the next thing you know, man, you're reeling from it. And that's creating another effect. And pretty soon it's just tentacles going out. And you're making bad choices, and it just the law of momentum kicks in on the inverse, and bullshit just keeps happening.
Yeah, like a snowball down a fucking mountain, out of control.
Exactly, you're just going to snowball down into the depths of hell, man.
For sure.
This is what's happened to humanity. This is where we're at right now. Look at the West Coast; it's fallen into hell space, man.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Yeah, like down here where I am in Canada, it's been so goddamn smoky. It's unbelievable. And that's a long ways away, and it's coming from there. But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, getting back to the state of mind, this is where, this is where things have been hijacked from the beginning,
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's as simple as that. You don't have a single clue about what you do in a day. You get up in the morning, you go to work, you come home, and just before bed, you don't even take the time to think of what you did and how your actions created that fucking day. So basic. It's literally like an automaton, a mindless fucking creature that just literally doesn't know anything about itself whatsoever. Not a clue.
Right.
It's sad. This fucking shit hurts me to see. I don't like it.
I know.
I want fucking people to thrive. Like that's what I want to see. Like I said before, I know what we're capable of. I want to see these motherfuckers shoot for the stars.
Exactly.
But, God damn, it just ain't happening. But there's a lot of people out there right now that are trying to make claims that we are fucking waking up. And that's kind of something I want to just quickly touch on too. And I've mentioned this before. Okay, people are waking up to like maybe the fucking 1% of the first fail, the government shit and the pedophiles and stuff. But man, people that have just got to that point aren't going to help us forge this path to get on the proper timeline. They've got fucking decade at least of shit to go through before they're even usable for the stuff on this fucking playing field. And that's the trouble. So are people waking up in a minor way? Is it really going to help us? Not really, because that beginning stage of waking up is pretty fucking chaotic.
Yeah, it's not, I'm entering a bliss state, or some bullshit like that. Like the church wants to propagate, all the bullshit when you go to one of those, revivals or whatever, and everybody drops into that bliss state and they get all blissed out. That's not awakening, man. That's actually getting worse. It's making your state of mind, it's making your life actually worse because you're getting raked out. The problem is for me has always been, allowing myself to come into a position to where, I realize I'm at a certain point of awakening. I'm not totally awake to everything yet. None of us are. We have a lot of work to do in this process of, integration, bringing ourselves into a place where we're accessing higher dimensional awareness. And, I'm burning through those veil aspects. But, I'll be damned if I'm going to stop. There's nothing that's going to stop me from moving forward and being the human being that I know I can be, you know? I mean, we don't even know our potential power, Jack. We haven't really even, as a human race, even got to on the way to first base yet, you know?
Well, that's right.
You know,
we don't even know what it is to be free. And you know what?
No.
You can throw the word around being free all you want, but for me, the day I understood what freedom was, it was a feeling that I had when I broke the shackles, that I cared about myself, loved myself enough to break free from the fucking shit that was pulling me down. Then I felt free, even in amongst this shit. But just to get to the point to feel free took me fucking a long time to really get it on a deep fucking level. It wasn't, it took, so we haven't, that's the thing with this waking up. You have a million fucking things in front of you that you have to get over and conquer before you're even usable to help humanity get on the proper fucking timeline. Like some of these things that I woke up to took years.
It does. This path work takes years. But, in context of building the bridge within yourself, bridging the abyss, building that bridge within yourself and connecting that spirit to soul code, essence to the higher force, the work that we've been doing, we can also then help build that bridge to others to help them, come into an awakening. If they're ready, see? But we can't waste our time on people who aren't willing to put the work in. This is where we have to have that discernment to know when somebody's actually, really ready, and when somebody's like just they're mental assenting to it, and again, it goes back to the fruit. What is it that you're producing? Are you coming into an awakening where your life is actually reflecting in vibrational correspondence what it is that you're doing on the inside in the internal work? And I think, a lot of us, I don't really like to use the word forerunners, but a lot of us who have been doing this work for years now, I mean, really, we've been doing it our whole lives. As a kid, I was kind of awake to everything, man. I kind of like, that ain't right. That's messed up, man. There's stuff messed up there. This shit ain't right. And so, but you don't really know how to deal with anything because you haven't really connected yet, but you can still see the bullshit that's going on, So as a child and growing up, I could see all that stuff, and even into my 20s and 30s. And, so, in some ways I was doing some work, but in context to where I'm at now, it's really just been about 3 years for me personally, where I've actually delved into the deep part of it, and said, you know what, I made a choice and I'm not stopping, and I don't know how long you've been working with this, but I can tell it's been quite a while.
Yeah, well, on a serious level, about 10 years at this point. So just going to have a decade's worth of this shit down my throat here fairly quickly. But as you said yourself, I knew from a young age that something was wrong. And, one of the things where, as I grew up in a family, nothing was pushed down our throats for thoughts or ideologies or religions or nothing. It wasn't something we talked about, but also nothing was thrown at me. So I really never had an indoctrinated mind on a deep level to begin with. And that definitely helped me too. My parents kind of just left that stuff alone. And honestly, I think that's better than shoving some fucking ideology down your kid's throat. But I was able to come up with, think of things myself and ask questions, bigger questions and whatnot. My mind was open to that from a young age, and it always was. And I always knew that this fucking pain that was inside of me, I didn't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what it smelled like, tastes like, or how to deal with it. But I knew that something wasn't fucking right, for years.
Yeah.
And I tried many different things to deal with it. But it wasn't until I got on this path where shit started to fucking happen. And, for me, this began when my daughter was born. For me, it was the first time I ever felt real fucking love. Like, I mean, authentic 100% love. And I mean, that doesn't mean I don't love my wife and my mom and dad and all that shit, but I'm talking drop me to my knees fucking feeling love. And I remember the first time I seen her, I literally did. I broke down in tears right there. I wasn't in pain. I didn't know what it was at the time, but literally she triggered, activated me right there. That fucking day, that was it. It was on. I left the hospital that night, and it was just the path from here forward at this point. So, I definitely thank her for coming into my life because, like I said, that turned something on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have two sons, and those were definitely memorable times when they were born, you know,
Yeah.
connecting and being initiated into certain aspects that, I needed, I definitely needed. Yeah. I've went through pain, man. I went through a lot of pain in my life, but also we have to find, on the flip side of this, man, we do have to find joy in this path work too.
Yeah.
This is a place where I've, set my intent in some ways as well to find that place where I am having these, I don't even know what you call them, but moments of coagulation where I feel that heart expansion take place, that phoenix rising, the whitening, whatever you want to call it. And it comes in and I feel it and it booms me. My heart booms and it opens up. I can feel my spectrum opening further, man. Like my wings are opening up further, it's just coming out. And I can feel that love of the higher force, that joy of the higher force within me, to be able to really connect with that. And I find when I have those times of expansion, it's been a lot of times after I've went through a real blackening calcination period where I've been down really, man, just, bound burning,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's been my experience is, those times that I get that expansion aspect going on, with me. I have went through some burning and calcination, some dissolution with things washing away, and those processes that take place with the alchemical process. When I get to that coagulation place, man, I can tell you that it is, I can't put it into words. I don't even know how to put it into words because literally my heart is opened up and booming. And it's like, sometimes it's almost like I feel like I could lift off the ground and fly. That's kind of what it feels like. And I could be in that spot for 2 or 3 days, man, maybe a week sometimes, where everything is just like magical, man. I'm in like this space where I'm walking and I'm wherever I'm going. There's synchronicities everywhere. My awareness is jacked up, and I'm feeling into my true core essence, and dude, there is nothing like that. It's I mean, and I'm not talking about the bliss bullshit. No. I'm talking about a real integration of your true intelligence, your true hardcore essence, man. And these are the times when I just like, this is incredible. Why can't everybody feel this? Everybody should feel this, to take part of this. And so, I don't do the path work because of that. I do the path work because I want to heal. I want to be a great human being. I want to be the best version of myself that I can be on this planet, and be that witness to others. But that process between that calcination and getting to the coagulation aspect, man, that's real to me. It really is. What kind of experience, have you had any experiences with that?
Oh, absolutely. Some years back, like I had, the city I live in here now, I'd moved here, never really was here, didn't know anything about it. And then, some years after I got here, I was walking down by the river, and I what you're talking about there, I had come into me, that feeling of just fuck, like I was there. I was absolutely in the moment. And I literally, again, I dropped to my fucking knees, and I had remembered walking in these exact footsteps right along this river. It was deja vu.
Wow.
And in that moment, I could go back and I literally could feel how I felt when I was there at that point.
Wow.
It was profound.
Wow.
And like, I mean, again, words can't really describe it. It just sounds like some fucking story, but it had a huge impact on my life, you know? And at that point, I'd always wondered why the hell I even came here. And it's that day that I went down there and had that experience, I knew that I came here to reconnect to the energies that were once here, that are still here, but that I once was tapped into here.
Wow. Yeah, it's an incredible experience.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk about voltage.
Yeah.
You know, and higher frequencies. You know, everybody wants to talk about raising their frequencies and all this stuff, man. You know, guess what? The way up is down. You don't raise your frequencies by trying to go up. You raise your frequencies by going down.
Yeah. Yes.
Grabbing those things, man, that are in your underworld that you need to integrate. You know, does anybody like being in the underworld? Not really. I don't really like going down there, man. But you know what? My Pluto's in 12th house. Guess what? I'm going for transformation here on this lifetime. You know? And, you know, ruled by Scorpio. I'm going for transmutation, transformation, full on, man. You know? And that's been what my life's been about, pretty much. I mean, you know, coming into this path work about 3 years ago when I was initiated, all I know is that first year was maddening. It was maddening. You know, if I didn't have a mentor or, you know, or people that I could talk to, I felt like there were times when I was going crazy. And this is part of the process that people are going to have to go through. They don't know it, man, but they're going to have to go through. Everybody's got to come the same way, man. No one's getting out of it. No one's escaping this fire.
No. And, you know, that's why I always talk about taking your strengths and weaknesses and throw your fucking strengths over there for now and focus on your fucking weaknesses and crawl into the underworld. You know, like, to me, do I really like being there? At this point, I don't mind it because I've been there so much that it's just like, oh, here we are. Fucking, I know this. You know, it's almost sometimes even boring at this point. But that's because one of the things about this path that I did was, and I didn't even know it, it was intuitive, but I literally made things worse for myself. I'm not talking about sadistic type stuff, but when it comes to learning about these feelings of pain and hurt inside, I'd amplify the motherfuckers and see if I could survive through it. And I just kept doing that and making it worse. Because once you get back to your original state of worse, which is better, it's pretty fucking good over there all of a sudden, you know? Because
I know, right?
You pulled yourself right into this shit. And that's, man, that's the way I fucking roll now. Give me the shit. Give me the pain. Fucking come on. Is that all you got? Fuck.
Right. Yeah. People want to run from their pain. You know, they want to do a 180 from it, walk the other way. You know, and you know, and honestly, you know, this is the what's been hijacked with the love and light stuff. You know, it's been hijacked. You know, and people are mesmerized by it. They're under a spell. You know, they're in the miasma, the Maya, the dream fog, and you know, they don't know how to navigate. You know, any part of their system mechanics. You know, they don't know how to navigate the simplest things, you know, which is their children.
Yeah.
You know, getting into raising your kids correctly. Yeah. They don't even understand. That's why we're so fucked up as a society. Because, you know, you've got broken homes, broken relationships, broken marriages, and kids get the fallout from the parents who never did any work to better themselves as a human being. And the next thing you know, man, the household's broken, or they're just dealing with the bullshit because they don't want to break up, because they don't want to break the kids up, which is even worse because now they're projecting all their bullshit onto the kids. You know, they haven't done any work. And so this is why our society is crumbling, because we literally don't have a real family units anymore, man. you know?
No, we don't know. It's completely fucking turned upside down. The man doesn't know where his place is anymore, and the woman
Absolutely.
doesn't know where her place is anymore. And I'll fucking give it to both men and women. I don't give a fuck. Neither of you know what the fuck's up. And you're literally both separated from the original versions of what you're supposed to be, masculine, feminine, and all the balance of that within. Totally fucking divorced from that shit, right?
Yes.
You know, the fucking
Yes.
men are cowards anymore, and the women, well, they're fucking taking over the role of the man, you know?
Yeah. It's totally inverted, man. You know? And one of the things that, you know, getting into the epigenetics aspect of it, one little part of it is, you know, just looking at the food and the water, what people are eating and drinking, the estrogen that's being put into the food to bring the man into a place, the masculine into a place where it's submitting to the feminine and allowing the feminine just to run amok, not even protecting the aspect of the feminine, you know, just leaving it, man. And I think that the mindset in the Western world especially has just been totally fucked up for the masculine aspect, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's been devastated, man, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's to the point now, like there was a time when the man was needed, you know, he was kind of the provider. And don't get your fucking panties all up in a knot about that, you know. But the point is that was his original thing, was as to be the provider. Well, in today's setting, the woman doesn't even need that anymore. The government is the fucking new father figure provider.
Right.
You know? So literally the
Right.
man has nowhere to fucking go. The woman doesn't even need him anymore. So, you know,
Right.
totally fucking falling apart on that end. But
I know.
again, that's the man's fault. You know, a person can blame all the fucking things on the planet, but it's your choice to be beat down and to drink dozens of fucking liters of soy milk and just create a estrogen based.
Exactly. That's exactly what's been going on, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, even the meats and everything has been taken and filled full of estrogen, antibiotics, all the stuff that has really taken the testosterone aspect from the man, you know? And you know, and you know, men have no spine anymore. They don't stand up for anything anymore. You know, they've lost their protective aspect, you know, of things. You know, they've lost their ability to be a warrior, you know, to understand that aspect of their masculinity. And you know, this is stuff as men we have to reclaim, you know.
Well,
we have to stand up and reclaim this stuff, you know.
And the time we're in right now, this is technically a good part on the man's shoulders to stand up and say, no more fucking masks, no more tyranny, no more shit. It's up to the fucking men. And they're just not doing it. You know how many females I've talked to in the last couple of years that just would love to find a fucking man with some testosterone pouring through his veins, one that can step up to the fucking plate and take care of shit like that. There's tons of women out there that would like a real man, but they're fucking near extinct at this point. But that's the thing. The forefront of this war right now, psychological war and physical, it's going to turn out to be that, at least the way we're headed in this country. But it's up to the fucking man to begin that, right? That's your fucking position, is to step up to the fucking something coming in to take over your tribe. But we're just laying down like dogs, letting this roll in. You know, and I'll talk to these fucking guys laying down like dogs. When they're with me, their shit's all fucking tough and they're talking like they're doing shit. But I can pick, man, when somebody's talking, I can pick out your bullshit so fucking fast it's not funny. And they may be conning themselves, but I can see right through these motherfuckers. You know, they're fucked. They're finished.
Yeah, and this, you know, and this gets into the law of gender, how it's been manipulated. You know, it's been so manipulated that, hell, we don't even know who's a woman or a man anymore. I'm a man in a woman's body. I'm a woman in a man's body. I'm half woman, half man. I mean, you know, it's gotten, the lines have gotten so blurred in society that, you know, a person doesn't even know who's caught in this bullshit, doesn't know whether they're coming or going. They don't know if they're man or woman or you know, or half man, half woman, transgender. What the fuck? You know?
That's right. Yeah. And you know, this shit reminds me like of all the studies I've done into Atlantis and whatnot. This is deja vu for me. I'm just seeing what I learned about what the fall of that fucking civilization and how that took place, you know? I mean, at the beginning of that, we were fucking living fairly authentic and able of amazing feats, the shit we could do. But then this inversion came in and the dark fucking priest class took over and we ended up self-destructing. Same fucking shit as right now, you know? And I mean, I could point out some other civilizations too, but Atlantis is like the one that we're at that fucking point right now, you know?
Yeah, it's the same trajectory, man, you know? And it's all manifesting now in the physical. Physically, all of that is coming up for review, isn't it? It's right now.
Right.
We're coming up for review on the great year here. And everything that's happening right now is starting to manifest in the physical aspect now. All the woundedness of the collective consciousness of mankind is coming up for review as we speak. And the question is what are we going to do about it now?
That's right.
You know, what is humanity going to do about it? As an individual, what are you going to do about it as an individual? See, you know, and this is kind of like my call out in this segment, you know, speaking to those out there. What are you going to do about it? You know, are you going to stand up and be a man, you know, and allow yourself to have that courage, transmute your fear, you know, into courage, take a stand, be a man, you know, be authentic, quit lying to yourself. See, this is where we have to come to, you know, as men. This is why we need to have these bonds, because we can call each other out when we're fucked, when we're screwed. We can say, dude, that ain't right, you know, and leave our pride, our bullshit, our ego, you know, shadow ego at the door, you know, come into alignment, man. When are you coming into alignment, you know?
Yeah.
And this is the call right now. As far as I'm concerned, the masculine has to step up here, man, period.
I don't really see on any other way than the masculine taking its fucking position back, you know? It's the only way this shit's gonna fucking work out. I mean, it's literally written into how we are. You know, if you just look back since the beginning of humans, so to speak, we've played that role. And maybe it wasn't always fucking perfect, but you know what? Men were fucking men. You know, I did a video, that was a while ago now, but on what men were then versus now. And I used just a kind of an example. If you took a man from that day and stuck him in a room with a sandwich and a man from today's age, and that's the last sandwich, guess who's eating? Fucking not the man from this.
Exactly. Exactly. That's true, man. Yeah. We've been so dumbed down. The masculine's been so manipulated, man.
Well, yeah, today's man is full of fucking fear. Like, let's go, let's say 1700. Do you think that man had a fear of going out in the wilderness and getting fucking food or wood or water or doing whatever the fuck he had to do? He just fucking did it, because if I don't, I die. I don't even have time for fucking fear. And it's not to say there was none at all, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Where these motherfuckers now, all they got to do is watch TV and they're paralyzed. The news, right? As soon as it comes on the fucking campaign of shit, they're done. Where the guy back then, well, even if a fucking bear just chased me, I still got to go deer hunting or we're all going to die tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, because that's the aspect of the masculine. You know, it is a provider. It is a protector, you know? That's part of the energy configuration of the masculine force, you know? It's the sun shining on the moon. I mean, how much more do we need to even see here, you know? And, you know, if you consider the moon as the feminine and the sun as the masculine is shining upon the feminine, you know, in protection, you know? And the bottom line is that there needs to be a major recalibration in people's minds, you know? You know, because this has gotten to the point now where, you know, these assholes can do anything. and they're going to say jump, and we're not even going to say how high. We're just going to jump.
Yeah,
because that's what it's come to. And they cast their spells and they put out their energy and they use all their bullshit to manipulate humanity. But when are we going to stand up and say, that's it, man? I'm done. I've had enough. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but if shit don't change here pretty quick, our countries, I know you're in Canada, our countries are headed for revolution, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And here too, it's just not fucking good at all. The shit that's coming down here. I know you guys are facing an election here right now. And there's a whole lot of shit going down there. But us, we got some time before there's an election. It's all shit to me. But anyways, I'm just saying, who we got in now is just fucking brutal. Definitely working for the fucking, New World Order bullshit, eh? And he's ushering in stuff so fast. We don't even have a government right now. It's fucking shut down. Nothing can even be done. And he's passing fucking laws that are putting shackles on us left, right, and center. It's fucking disgusting.
Wow.
It's
wow.
bad.
Yeah, the government's pretty bad, man. And this is what, pretty much everyone now, especially here in America, the United States, it's gotten to the point now where, I don't know, man. It just seems like everyone's depending on the government, man, to do something for
totally
them.
Fucking, And that's what I just wanted to say too. Is the couple men around here that you might get the sense that are going to stand up. They are, if the conservatives get in, right? They have a fucking requirement in order to stand up. So they're all hoping on these fucking buffoons, the liberals, the NDP, all this fucking bullshit. They want that to change so that they can stand up. Fuck, it's retarded. And honestly, I see it in you guys' country too. Don't wait.
It's the same thing here, man.
Just go fucking do what you got to do. Don't wait for anybody.
That's the thing, man. Is everybody's like, they have this, this thread that runs through the savior programming, man. That runs through everybody's unconscious, subconscious mind field like a goddamn virus.
Yeah.
And so now they take and they put that onto Trump or whatever it is, man, we're, government, whatever, that, we're going to be saved, and, something's coming to save us. I'm going to put my trust in this because, this looks like our best bet or whatever. No, man, you have to be your own flippin' savior. And I know that you're it.
Yeah, that's it. The only motherfucker that's going to save you is you.
You're it. Yeah. And if you don't come to that understanding that you're it, guess what, man? You're fucked. Because you'll always be a victim.
That's right.
Always. You'll always be a victim, man.
For sure.
And, I feel like that that here in the United States that we're at a major crossroads here now. And if things don't change here pretty soon, man, I don't even know. I can't even imagine the things that, we have to deal with, man, here that are gonna pop their ass up, I mean, I am literally sitting here every day and doing what I do, and I don't even watch the news anymore. I threw that shit out the window a long time ago, man. But there's shit that pops up on my feed once in a while or whatever, and I can tell you, man, I thought that things were bad. Every day there's some shit that comes up that blows my mind.
I know. Yeah, I know. So, and that's, I've often thought that too, why should I even be surprised anymore? Yet daily, if not multiple times a day, I'm fucking amazed at the shit that's happening, And that's one of the troubles. So if you're just awakening and you're stepping into this shit, man, you have a pretty low probability of fucking pulling out of that.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. I can sit here and talk about the doom and gloom. I feel just fucking fine inside. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
fucking change what I do. I'm
Me
not
either.
gonna stop the standpoint I've taken. I
Nope.
could give a fuck less what's happening.
Yeah.
So this isn't really rattling me on a deep fucking level at all.
Me either. But, you know, I have to look at it in context to what's happening in the reality fields
I agree.
and just go, you know, I just shake my head sometimes. I'm just like,
Yeah,
how
I know.
can people have no common sense, have no navigation skills whatsoever, and they're just swallowing the rotten fruit, man.
Yeah.
They're living on the rotten fruit of the tree, man. You know, of the fucking tree of death and stagnation, day in and day out. And they think that it's sustaining them when it's just actually sucking the life force out of them, man.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
you know, so
Literally agreeing to their own destruction.
coming into agreement with death and stagnation and destruction, self-destruction, self-murder. It just blows my mind, man. So this is why, this is why people like you and I have to stand up, man.
For sure.
And we have to evoke what it is that you know we're doing. We have to be the witnesses. The greatest witness, as far as I'm concerned, that we can be is the fruit of our lives, man.
Yeah.
You know, period. That's the greatest witness that we have, and the wisdom that comes from our hearts, man, when we speak. You know?
Well, you know, the last thing I want to do is when my daughter's 20, 30 years old or whatever it would be and says, Dad, what did you do during 2020? Last thing I want to say is lay on the fucking couch like a coward.
Exactly, man. We got to stand up as men. We have to stand up, the women too, man. We all have to stand up together, man. We all have to arm hand in hand. You know, I know there's vibrational correspondence.
We need the support of the woman.
And support, exactly, man. Protect, support, be there, and allow the woman to come into a place of healing. Because let's face it, man, the feminine it has to be healed on this planet, man. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense. If you want to fuck up humans, you attack the womb, right?
Exactly, man. You hijack the womb. Yep.
Right from conception,
period,
right to the end.
Yep.
And so women are the forefront of taking the shit that's come to conquer our fucking consciousness. They've
absolutely, man. And then they take all that hurt and pain and woundedness and project it, man, into the neo-feminism bullshit. See?
That's right. And no wonder the fucking kids growing up are so fucked up. Again, we talked earlier about the choices that you make. So when you have conceived, the way that you feel, your energetic fucking standpoint is growing and cultivating that child. And if you're sick, toxic, and rotten inside, that's what you're fucking creating within you. You know, the woman, that's where the woman needs the fucking protection of the man so he can ward off the shit to keep her balanced while she's fucking growing this child.
Exactly.
You know, so it's not built in a toxic, energetic fucking soup.
Exactly. And that's really what happened at birth, is that energetic connection between the child and the woman and the womb has been severed. Absolutely. This is where they start from the very time, you know, you're born into the planet here. It starts right there, man. This is where they hijack it from the very get-go. And
it only makes sense to me, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it.
Exactly, man. So this is where the man has to step up and say, you know what, man, we have to allow this connection to reestablish that true, you know, ancient connection between the woman and the child, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, this is where as far as I'm concerned, this is where the healing of the feminine has to start, you know, with this aspect, because this is where they've attacked. This is where they've come in and literally drove the wedge in between that energy force right there, man. Yeah. And they've hijacked the womb, you know, on the etheric level as well. You know, they've taken it, you know, and we just let them, you know, all the pain, all the betrayal, all the bullshit. It's time to deal with it, guys. It's time to set your face like flint and stand and heal. This is our time to do it. I know there's all kinds of bullshit and distractions going on around us, but if you'll draw the circle, come into the space of your sovereignty and free will, and dive deep and dig deep into that healing process for yourself as an individual, take responsibility for where you're at and begin your healing process, I guarantee you, you will never regret it. Ever. Ever, man.
For sure.
Dude, it's been awesome having you on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's been great getting into, you know, some of these base subjects and basic aspects of life, you know, with you, man. And hopefully we'll do it again.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, you know, and dude, man, it's great to see you face to face and actually have a conversation with you, man. Just, you know, instead of texting.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely now I can see I've talked to you and I've got a whole nother level of respect for you.
Oh, vice versa, man. Ditto, you know, I mean, this is where we get into, you know, really having that correspondence and relationship and connecting, man, because I feel a sense of camaraderie here, you know. I really do. I feel it, you know, feel it in my heart.
Yeah.
You know, so. All right, man, anything else you want to add here at the end? Maybe help, you know?
Just, you know, the same old fucking shit that I keep doing is, you know, come on, people, let's fucking do this shit, you know? Look at the fucking timeline that we could be on. You know, just imagine that. Take the fucking time to sit back in meditation or whatever and build within your mind the future that you really want to see us in. Because this is important too. Don't always only look at the doom and gloom, but focus on what the fuck you want to see.
Yes.
And bring it into your life by standing in the fucking magic circle and having some fucking guts to save it without terrifying and fear. You know?
Exactly, man. Self-actualize your space where you want to go, where you want to be as an individual, and self-actualize that space in the circle where you want to see humanity go as a collective. This is what we have to do in the circle, because guess what? I'm the cause point. You're the cause point. We have to be that. We have to stand in the gap and be the intercessors for what's taking place here. Because guess what? This shit ain't gonna change itself magically just by itself with a wave of a wand. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I thought the Canadians were coming to help us out.
Exactly, man. You know, the Galactic Federation bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You know. I mean, literally. I mean, you gotta understand. There are people out there that are waiting for the next transmission, man. You know?
Yeah.
Blows my mind. You know, you're the transmission. God damn it. You know, you're the broadcaster. You know, start healing so you can have an effect on your reality fields. You know, have an effect on your own life because you're it. You're it. You know. So, dude, man, it's been awesome.
Awesome. Thanks
All right, man.
for the opportunity.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely we'll do this again, man.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right, bro.
All right. Peace out.